Hello friends, it's Miss Dom. Today I want to talk about egg art and give you a few ideas of some things you can do. So the tradition of dyeing colorful eggs has been around for a really long time. It started in Eastern Europe and the Middle East in different traditions. For example, in Iran, they're dyed as part of Nowruz, which is celebrating the new year. But most of you know of these eggs as Easter eggs. Here in the United States, we have Easter egg hunts, we have baskets filled with candy, and then of course a lot of people dye eggs at home and put them in the basket, and we think about the Easter bunny and so forth. But the art of creating beautiful eggs is most closely associated with Ukraine and Russia and Eastern Europe. So that's what we're going to focus on today as far as a little bit of art history and examples. And like I said, I'm going to give you some ideas of things that you can make yourself. So looking at the slide that this video is in, if you look on your left hand side, you can see a woman using a little tool to apply wax to the egg. And so what she's doing is drawing her design in wax, and then when she colors the egg, the dye won't go on the area that's covered in wax. It's called pazanki, and it's a traditional style of creating beautiful eggs in the Ukraine. You can do something similar if you have egg dye and hard-boiled eggs. You can use a wax crayon and draw on the egg and then dye it. So it's not going to be quite as crisp and clear as using that special tool with melted wax, but it's a lot easier and it's a lot of fun. The other thing you can do if you want to do something similar to the pazanki is draw on a piece of paper with crayon and then do watercolor over it and create a resist and get that same effect. So it's using a resist technique where the color won't go where the wax is, because the wax and the water-based color are not going to mix. Okay, so the color won't stick to the wax. So there's many beautiful examples of pazanki out there, and it's a beautiful art form. So that's on the left-hand side. Now on the right-hand side are two more examples, and so the one on the top is a carved egg, and I'm going to show you something I did similar to that you can try at home. And so that's by a Slovenian artist named Frank Gorm, and he used an electric drill into a hollowed out egg, and then if you put some light in it, it glows. And I thought that was really amazing. Now, I'm not even going to attempt to use a drill on an egg. That's a skill I don't have. But you can do something that sort of glows, and I have my window open so you can see. I'm just going to hold this up in front of the window so you can see how it glows. Okay, can you see that? How the light is sort of coming through. The way I did that is pretty simple. So if I turn it this way, you can see where I drew a design, and then I used a toothpick and I poked holes. Now I didn't quite finish because I want to show you how I did this. You need to be careful because it can tear. I have a tiny little tear over here, so if you get a tiny little tear, not a big deal. But you're going to need just a toothpick and a paper, and you can cut the paper into shape of an egg if you like. Don't necessarily have to. But the way this works is you're just going to you need to hold it up while you do it. If it's on the table, you can't poke through. So you have to lift it up off of the table, and then you're going to take one hand and keep one hand really close to the paper to help prevent tears and to help hold it steady enough and stiff enough so that you can poke it, and then you poke it. So you want to be careful not to poke your finger but the paper that's the hand that's holding the paper does need to be pretty close to where you're poking. So you really need to watch and pay attention to where you're poking and making those holes. And you don't want to put the holes too close together because, like I said, there's a chance it might tear a little bit. But you also don't want to put them too far apart because then you won't really see that design. Okay, so you can see where I just poked a few holes, and you can see how the light shines through it, and you can sort of start to see that design that I was creating. And then you can put it up against the window. I know that's hard to see, and if you were at home, you'd be able to see that. It's just the camera doesn't capture it. Okay, so that's the other idea. And then the final thing that I want to show you is on the bottom right-hand side, something called Faberge eggs. And those are the fanciest Easter eggs ever. They were made in Russia during the imperial times, 1885 to 1917. The first one was made by the order of Tsar Alexander III for his wife, the Empress Maria Ferdinova. And that was what was really amazing about these eggs is they were gilded. In other words, they had gold on them, they had gems, they were beautiful, they were colorful, they opened up to reveal a little sculpture inside with more gems and more, sometimes there were pictures of the Tsar's family. Today they're very highly collectible. They can be found in museums, and those are probably the fanciest Easter eggs ever made. So you can go ahead and give that poking the design through the paper to make it glow. Give that a try if you want to. Or if you want to, you can try doing the resist with crayon on an actual egg or on a piece of paper and then either dyeing the egg or painting the paper. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the history of decorated eggs, and if you get a chance, I'd love to see what you do. See you next time.